So before every flight, we're going to align the ADIRUs. So we're going to turn them off, turn them back on. You'll see the align light comes on. The yaw damper kicks off when you turn those both off, so you have to turn that back on. And then we're going to come down to the FMS. I put the iPad right there next to it so I can just see it while I'm working on it. In the reference page, I'm going to check the database and make sure it's the correct. That's the active one. Pause the init page, type in the current airport, hit next page, select GPS L and set it in the IRS position. Now when you do that, it puts your current airport in the scratch pad. So then you just line select 1 and it puts it in the origin. Then you're going to type in and put in your destination airport, your airline code, and flight number. Then I select departure. If I have a departure procedure, I'll put it in there. If not, I will put in just the departure runway. In this case, I have a departure procedure and a transition. Then I'll go to my arrival. If I have an arrival procedure, select the transition and the runway. And I'll look through the, if I don't know which runway exactly, I'll look through the flight plan to see what's planned runway. And then I'll select that on the FMS, hit route, activate, and execute it. So at this point, I'm going to look at the flight plan on the release, and I'm going to type in each waypoint one by one. You can execute them as you're going along, or you can wait till you're all the way done with the flight plan to execute it. In this case, you see I had a discontinuity. So I took my transition from the arrival procedure and then brought it up to the discontinuity. And now I'm going to execute it. Perf init page. Start with the cruise altitude. Put in your planned 0 fuel weight. The reserves. If you have an alternate, you'll add your standard reserve to your alternate fuel. And we use the cost index 25. And what that does is gives the profile. Then execute that. Hit N1 limit page. Put your outside temperature in. And that gives you your N1 bugs. And that's just a plan at this point. So I got the insufficient fuel message using reserve fuel. And so I went back in and put in my planned fuel into the perf init page, back to the N1 limit page, then takeoff. All I'm doing here is I'm going to verify the runway that I selected, hit next page, and then put in the thrust reduction altitude because for some reason ours defaults to 1,500 feet and we use 1,000. I'm going to go back to the legs page, hit route data and winds request. This sends a request for the cruise winds. Now I'm going to go to the legs page, reach up and put it in plan mode. And then I'm going to step through the points one by one and verify the entry in the CDU with the flight plan. So I'm looking at each waypoint and making sure there's not a discontinuity. A discontinuity meaning a break in the flight plan. Go back to map mode. So now I'm verifying the mileage that's filed, that it hits somewhere close to what the filed mileage is. Now I have my winds request has come back. So I'm going to go to legs and then load the winds. And then I'm going to go to the VNAV page, go back to descent, hit forecast, and then load the descent winds. And what that's going to do is give me a more accurate time en route and fuel burn. Going to go to the menu ACARS page. Now I'm going to set up everything in the ACARS, starting with the pre-flight. In this data, make sure the flight number is correct, origin and destination. Put in my estimated time of departure, my estimated time en route. and then I'll hit the takeoff conditions page. Here I'm going to select my runway. You'll see it says VHF in progress. That just means it's requesting what the available runways are at the airport. You can type in the runway, but if you just wait for that, it gives you them runways that are available. I select runway 18. Hit load sheet. I put in my employee number and my PIN number. Then I'm going to put in the bags. What I'm doing here is just, I know we don't put bags in forward 1 or aft 4 typically, so I'm just going to put a 0 in both of those. Now I'm taking off runway 18, and I know that we are below the class Bravo shelf on this departure procedure off runway 18. So my target speed, I put 200. So then it will maintain 200 knots until I'm inside the class Bravo, and then I'll have the pilot monitoring select econ speed. I'm going to execute that, and that's it.